Chris, I want to talk to you. You know, it's very easy for people on other channels to mock and ridicule Cory Booker. I though, got to read into the impact this had. Actually watching Lawrence last night.
I watched it too.
Who, as you know, he knows the Senate. He knows what moves senators. He had been talking to senators throughout the day, and he was emotional and choked up. And you know, said this was not grandstanding. This was actually a message to other senators. It's time to go. This is go time. And Lawrence reported that the other Democratic senators, you could tell he was lifting them up. So when they got up to speak, they had a little more energy, a little more inspiration, and a little more focus on what they need to do. We need two strong parties actually debating each other, free marketplace of ideas. I think we saw that yesterday.
Yeah, I think the rah-rah section is finally being heard. And the fact that he gave that filibuster, which is a word Democrats, a lot of the people on the left don't like the word filibuster, but he used it last night effectively. And I look at Michael Bennet from Colorado, who's talking about running for the governorship. That's a step to the presidency. The governorship is much more attractive as a candidate. And I think he's pushing for it. Chris Murphy's all over the place. There are people who are speaking out. And I think I always thought Cory Booker.
Rahm Emanuel also really.
Well, another different personality.
Well, another different about too, a guy who's really found his voice and knows how to focus the debate as well.
Yeah, these guys are likable too. That's important too. Like Susan Crawford yesterday. She looked like a real winning candidate to me, not just a judge for some senator governorship. She looked like a winner. I mean, personality's a lot. That Shamil guy she ran against, he couldn't even handle Musk. He said Musk's been spending all this money, handing out $1 million checks. You know, pay to play is supposed to be secret.
Right.
You're supposed to.
You're not supposed. Yeah, you're supposed to have like
not supposed to happen.
They used to get cash and pass it around to get people to go out and vote in Philadelphia.
No,
now they just
the old one was open the lower drawer.
Yeah.
And you're gonna put something in there. What are you doing here?
You're walking around money, they call it. Now they just take $1 million checks and start handing them out on TV.
I don't think and Wisconsin's a clean state. I mean, some states are cleaner than others. Wisconsin's don't. I mean, Teddy White used to write about this and making the presidency. It's a clean state. The votes count.
Yeah.
The people out there voted. 3/4 of the Republicans and Democrats said they want ID cards. They want votes to count. They don't want people illegally voting. They don't want any cheating.
And by the way, that national ID. I mean,
it's coming.
The voter ID. Like 85% of Americans support that. That's not a Republican issue, and it's not a Democratic issue. Democrats, if they don't get that yet, they should get it. 85% of Americans, according to Pew poll, want people to show an ID before they vote. It doesn't seem really radical or racist. And the people of Wisconsin said that also last night, along with this big victory. Jonathan Martin, though, we've got to talk about, though, this dynamic in the age of Trump about the difference between when Donald Trump is at the top of the ballot and when Donald Trump is not on the ballot.
Right.
And everybody that thinks, and I always say this, you know, Republicans, and Chris knows this, they thought that the Reagan magic was transferable. It wasn't. Democrats thought the Obama magic was transferable. It wasn't. They left Washington. It wasn't. Republicans started winning. These people around Donald Trump think that Trump political magic is transferable. It's just not. It wasn't in 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, and now 25. It's not transferable, is it?
Right. Donald Trump is like a sort of science experiment, right? And he creates these two powerful forces. One is the MAGA support for him. The other is the backlash against him. When you take Trump himself out of the experiment, Joe, you're only left with the backlash. So when Trump himself is not on the ballot, you have the other co-equal force, which is the backlash against Trump, but you don't have the other side. So what you get in return is a 10-point margin in the Wisconsin Supreme Court race, which, by the way, was almost double what Democrats privately had in their polling going into the election. And you shave Trump's margins from Daytona and the Panhandle basically in half in special congressional races because all you have is the Trump backlash. And just real fast, Joe, if I could, Chris mentioned this, but this is so important. Why on earth was Elon Musk himself, the closing surrogate in Wisconsin. I understand his money. The party needs the money. But how can nobody in the party go to Trump and say, we cannot have Elon as the face of this Wisconsin race wearing a cheese head in the last 48 hours of the campaign and then offering to pass out cash? I can't think of a state, maybe besides Minnesota, where passing out cash would be received so harshly as the good government, upper Midwest, civic, healthy. Wisconsin passing out cash, it's just anathema.
You know what? J. Mart, they would applaud that wildly in Wisconsin and in Boston. I mean, that's how politics
Right, you get your
played.
beak wet in Philadelphia.
And in Philly, you'd get a standing ovation. But Chris makes a good point that J. Mart just underlined here. We ain't talking. We ain't talking about Louisiana and Edwin Edwards.
That was quite tone deaf.
And I got no problem with Louisiana, but we're not talking about that. Seriously, Chris is exactly right. Minnesota, Wisconsin, good government, clean states. Elon Musk, cheesehead, like he could. It's called reading the room. And he really, and we're not saying this, I'm not even being glib. He could not have read the room in a worse way than he did when he went to Wisconsin.
Nobody bought him in the cheese head. It didn't fit. It didn't work. He's not that guy. And John Howman, the other element of this is he is the very representation of all the chaos that's been going on for the last 3 months or whatever it's been so far, which is to say he is the man with the chainsaw. He is the 80,000 jobs cut at the VA. He is the 10,000 jobs cut yesterday at HHS, down to the FDA and vaccines and everything else. All of the Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. That's all Elon Musk. And there he was standing on that stage as that symbol in the last days of the campaign.
Well, yeah, and to J. Mart's point, I'll just even say a little more, also he's just weird. He's weird, and he comes across as weird in the context of a place like Wisconsin. My dad was from Wisconsin. These people are square in the best possible way. Weird, eccentric, odd, strange is not a good look for them. He went there in that last speech, Willie, with the cheesehead thing on. He talked for 2 hours and almost never mentioned the candidate who he was there to stump for. I'm talking about in 2 hours, he probably mentioned the candidate he's spending $25 million for. He mentioned his name, I think, twice in 2 hours. And the rest of the time, he's talking about AI. He's talking about Tesla. He's talking about Social Security fraud. He's talking about immigration. None of it on message. 36 hours before Election Day. And you're the biggest figure in the race. And you're not talking about the candidate you're trying to elect, and you're jumping around with a cheese head on. It's just it was a doomed effort, and I think the Wisconsin's not for sale. All those things you said are right about the things that make Elon unpopular, but in this particular state, that message that Ben Wickler and the rest of the Democrats drove, Wisconsin's not for sale. He's trying to buy our election. That became their rallying cry, and that has enormous traction in a state, a good government state like Wisconsin. And the more money he shoveled in, the more resonant he made the message.